Today in the show, I'm going to be talking about my opinions on the casting in Netflix's Deathnote movie.
The human whose name is written in this note shall die.
So normally I do not watch trailers, I do not look at casting pictures or anything before a movie is out because I like going into movies totally fresh. But the other day, my friend sent me the trailer and was like, Faust, you need to watch this. And I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. And they're like, no, Faust, you need to watch this. So I watched the trailer. I mean, that hate crime is not my problem. While there are issues of Americanizing, some people are saying whitewashing. No, it's fucking Americanizing. While that is a big issue, it's not really the issue that I want to address. I'm going to address my issue of the casting on a visual standpoint. I'm going to talk about who the characters are in Deathnote, the anime, and how these casts are visually, because that's what I specialize in. Visuals. So we have Nat Wolff as Light Turner. So the issue with this casting, and I'm not saying Nat Wolff is unattractive by any means, he's not an unattractive guy whatsoever, but the thing is, Light has to be so attractive to the point where if he was attractive in real life, if he was walking down the street, at least 3 people would say to him, do you know that you're really attractive? Because you are really attractive. Can I have your number? Because you are really fucking attractive. Are you a model? It's that level of attractiveness that actually lets him get away with a lot of what he's doing in the anime. And it's not something that people really think about as an aspect, but the thing is, people don't blame attractive people for murder. So when an attractive person is the source of murder, it's almost a little bit weird and surprising, and it just couldn't be them. They're attractive. I mean, no one actually thinks that, no one actually says that, but it's like a subconscious thing. Like, they're attractive, they can't be a murderer because humans don't want to be attracted to a murderer. The issue with Nat Wolff is, and like I said, he's not unattractive by any means, but he's not like, oh my god, I want to spend the rest of my life with you just staring at you attractive. He's almost creepy attractive. He looks like he could be a murderer. No offense, Matt, but you do kind of look like a murderer. That's a good thing in some cases. You could be cast as a murderer, just not in Deathnote, because while you are playing a murderer in Deathnote, you probably shouldn't look like a murderer. The big thing in Deathnote is that people do not look like how you would expect them to look, at least in the case of Light, in Misa, and in Elle. They are not supposed to look like how you would expect someone in their position to look. Again, Margaret Qualley, not unattractive by any stretch of the imagination, but she's not the right type of attractive. The thing with Misa, she is supposed to look the bomb.com level of attractive, but also, you know, she's kind of crazy by looking at her, so she would probably be single. In fact, the only person that could ever be with her in the world is Light. Like, he's the only person that would ever be with her, but only because he is just as crazy as she is, and he is just as twisted and attractive as she is. The only difference is she's got that slightly crazy aspect on the outside, whereas he keeps it all on the inside. Margaret Qualley, she's a little bit too girl next door, let's face it. If I were to cast a Misa, the most perfect casting choice would be Brie Larson. Look at her. Look at her basically dressed up as Misa in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. You cannot say that she would not be perfect in that role. I know a lot of people might be there arguing, well, you know, you can't judge their acting ability based off of how they look. I'm not judging their acting ability whatsoever. They might be the best actors in the world. They might be the best actors I have ever seen, but movies are a visual medium, and there's a lot more to it than just how they can act. If I don't look at them and see that character right away and see everything that character represents right away, then it's wrong. Keith Stanfield as Elle. This one I have a lot of problems with because they've gone for who Elle is on the inside rather than who he is on the outside. I'm gonna say this right now, I do not care that this actor is black. Anyone of any race could play Elle. That really does not matter. Elle's race is not a part of his character. Elle looking malnourished and creepy and kind of fucking disgusting is a mega part of his character. He is not supposed to be attractive at all in the real world. And this guy, he's too attractive to play Elle. This guy just is way too attractive to play Elle. I want to be fucking disgusted. And you can argue, yeah, well, they could do hair, they could do makeup and stuff. I haven't seen any hair or makeup done, I'm gonna be honest. But I highly doubt that they've done much. I'm gonna be honest. I really want them to have done something to make him more ugly, but looking at him, I don't get Elle. I want someone that looks like they fucking smell. I want someone that looks malnourished. I want someone that looks like they just do not take care of themselves. That is how Elle is supposed to look. He's supposed to look like a homeless guy. And I'm not getting that. I did a bit of research into this Deathnote movie because clearly the story that they're doing is not Deathnote, which I do have a lot of problems with. So I was like, okay, who wrote this screenplay? The person that wrote this movie wrote 2015's Fantastic Four. They wrote 2015's Fantastic Four. They gave that guy Deathnote. Why? I don't actually think that the story of Deathnote is being done, to which I would say, well, if you didn't want to do Deathnote, why are you calling it Deathnote? You could have just done a completely original story, had like a smartphone that kills people if they're texted from it, and gone from there. And then at the end of the movie, put inspired by Deathnote. That would have been a lot better. It would have allowed the director, the producers, everyone to truly embrace these new ideas and go to the next level. Whereas in this situation, I feel like they had a lot of ideas that just weren't from Deathnote, but because they were chained by what Deathnote is, they couldn't really truly embrace these ideas. So I genuinely think that this is probably going to be a bad movie. I want to be wrong. I want this to be the best anime adaptation that we've ever seen. We've yet to see a good one done in the West, so I really want this to be a good one. I do think that if you're going to adapt Deathnote and set it in the West, it probably should have been set in the UK. And I'm not just saying that because I'm from the UK, but because when a large amount of deaths start happening in a smaller country, it's noticed a lot faster and it's a bigger deal due to the smaller population and due to the fact that it's a smaller landmass, so more people are in danger, as opposed to America, where it's such a huge country. Someone in New York isn't going to be afraid of the same killer that's going around in California because it's so far away. It's that level of mass hysteria and fear that just can't be present in this adaptation that could have been present in the Japanese version. We didn't really explore that aspect in the original, but definitely could have been explored in an adaptation that was set in the UK or another small country such as Singapore. Overall, I'm worried, but I want this to be good.
It's super effective!
Okay guys, that is it for today. So how do you feel about Netflix's Deathnote? Please let me know in the comments down below. Also don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe to all of the social links, and I will see you next time.